Hey there, my name's Carrie, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to make bulletproof coffee. So let's talk about what you start out with for bulletproof coffee. Obviously it's the coffee. So let's talk about that for just a second, and then we're going to talk about what you put in it. So you're going to want about 16 ounces of brewed coffee for this recipe. Now you can adjust that obviously and just add more or less of these ingredients. But that's what I'm doing today. So as far as the coffee goes, let's talk a little bit about why it matters what coffee you put in. I would highly encourage you to get organic if at all possible for your coffee choice. No matter what it is, organic is always best just because coffee is very heavily sprayed with pesticides. So getting an organic version of your favorite coffee is really the best way to go. Now, I will say for decaf, there's another thing that you want to look for, and that's what I'm using today. I don't like to drink a whole lot of caffeine, and I don't really need the caffeine for like an energy boost. I just like the way coffee tastes. So decaf works for me, but regardless, you want to buy organic. But if you're buying decaf, you want to get organic, but you also want to get Swiss water processed because they use a chemical process to decaffeinate the coffee. And so you're just going to be getting more chemicals in there, even though it says organic. So look for that on the bag when you buy your decaf. So I like to buy the whole bean and then I grind it in little batches. So I just ground this, and so I'll just use this down and then grind some more. And I really like to do that rather than grinding every day. Some people really prefer that, and that's totally fine. But either way, you're just going to need some brewed coffee. So once you have your coffee, I actually have made mine in a French press. I just add the ground coffee. I pour some hot water over it and I let it sit for about 5 minutes. That's how I make mine. So in the blender, you're going to want to blend this up. So bulletproof coffee, you can use this little device called a frother, and this is more, I feel like, for travel purposes, because if I'm traveling I will use that, but if I'm at home I'm definitely going to use a blender because it just helps everything get incorporated so much better. So use a blender. It does not have to be a high-speed blender. This is a Vitamix, but you don't have to use a Vitamix for this recipe. So in the blender I have two different things. So for bulletproof coffee, you're going to want to add a grass-fed butter and some type of coconut oil or MCT oil. I'm going to talk a little bit about what that is. But for butter, you're going to want to add a grass-fed butter. That's just the highest quality butter that you can get. You get all those good healthy fats in there. And so I'll tell you a few brands that I like to use. So this is a pasture-raised Vital Farm brand. You can find this at Kroger, Publix, different places like that. Kerrygold is often another one that is available probably more readily than this one. Another alternative to this, if you are dairy-free, you can use ghee as well. So if you're doing a cleanse or if you're doing a Whole30, you're going to want to do that. But any other time, I usually use butter just because it makes it a lot creamier. So I'm going to add a tablespoon of the butter in there. I already have, actually. And then let's talk about the coconut oil. So this is another obviously healthy fat. And so I just keep my coconut oil in this jar. You're going to want to add a teaspoon of that. Now, alternatively, you could add MCT oil or brain octane oil. And all those is just a concentrated chain specifically that's in coconut oil, but they have kind of refined it down to just that one chain, which is really good for focus and clarity, and it works on a certain part of your brain. So if that's what you want to do, and I add that sometimes, but today I'm just going to show you the coconut oil because that's what most people have. You're going to want to add a teaspoon of whatever you're using into the blender as well. So with that, one other thing to make upgraded bulletproof coffee, I'll say, I love to add essential oils in here. So I really, really like peppermint in here. It adds a great flavor to it. I'm going to add 1 drop. And it also is great for focus and clarity and just bringing oxygen to your cells and kind of energizing. So that's always great in the morning. I love to put it in my hands and just inhale, but I also like to put it in this coffee. And then a drop of turmeric. Now, turmeric is most of us know that is a very highly anti-inflammatory oil, and it definitely is that. And I really love to take it every day. And so I just like to put a drop in here. You can't taste it, and you get the benefits, and so it's like, why not? So that's just my upgraded version of it. So I'm gonna push the plunger down on this coffee and pour it in here. And it doesn't matter how you brew your coffee. You don't have to use a French press. You can just use a regular coffee maker or drip coffee maker, whatever works for you. And so I'm just going to blend this up. And you really only need to blend for like 20 or 30 seconds. Just to make sure everything gets blended up, the butter and the coconut oil get all through the coffee. And if you've never tried Bulletproof Coffee, it's very creamy. So if you're used to cream in your coffee, this is going to give you a great creamy consistency. And as you can see, it's got some foam on there. So when I pour it, it's just a really pretty kind of light brown color, and it's very frothy and creamy. So if you're used to adding cream, this is a great way to maybe get away from that. If you're used to adding sugars in your coffee, I feel like this gives it a nice flavor and just a little bit of something different rather than drinking just black coffee. But you don't want to add sweeteners in Bulletproof Coffee. That's kind of going against what the benefits of this are by adding sugar in there. It's going to kind of mess up what it's doing in your body. And Julie's going to give you more information on intermittent fasting. But Bulletproof Coffee provides you with the healthy fats to keep your brain very focused, but it doesn't weigh you down because there's nothing to digest. So it's a really great way to incorporate intermittent fasting into your day. It's very easy, quick in the morning. I really like to do this, especially during the school days when my kids are off to school and I'm ready to get to work, and I'm just going to enjoy this and be able to focus really well in the morning. So we're glad you're joining us for this fasting challenge, and I hope you enjoy making this Bulletproof Coffee. Enjoy.